Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year ago we had Pro Blood, Pro Glass, and Pro Wrestling and all that jazz. But for another episode of the Soul Sessions for the fourth time, Andrew Crammond of Bleeding Gums Wrestling, welcome back, my friend.
Cheers. Good to be here. Try and choose you like into the camera.
Yeah, I'll break my camera and then I'm out with the laptop.
just tap it lightly.
It's going to be an audio-only interview, folks, because of my stupidity in breaking shit. But hey, yes, but of course, Andrew, my friend, brother, you've been on the show multiple times before, and also a year on for Bleeding Gums, from the ultraviolet referendum in Edinburgh to recently with Liquid Filth at the church in Dundee. A full year progress for you, my friend, and I do want to know your thoughts on your full year of operation with Bleeding Gums.
Oh God, it's weird because it's like the more that, like, just beside me, like where my door is, I've got all the flyers that I've done, and they're all stapled to the wall, like to the side of the door. And I'm like, I kind of look at them sometimes, like I'm like, that's a bit mad. This shouldn't be happening. I'm like, but like in a way, like I do feel like it's just and it's earned, and like not just me, but everybody who's worked for me and stuff like yourself and Brian and Mark and Michaela and fucking everybody, fucking the medical crew and fucking the refs and the wrestlers and everybody and cameras and all everything. Everybody's worked fucking hard for it. But yeah, it's been a bit mental. I didn't think that I'd be doing this like a year. I think it was, what day is today? This is like the 24th or something. So it's like, yeah, so it lost ultraviolet referendum was the 18th.
Oh, damn. I mean,
well, it's like a full year. Well, 6 shows and a third because we also did Backlash as well. Yeah, but like it's been surreal. I think Liquid Filth went really well, aside from obviously probably going to talk about some things that have nothing to do with the wrestling, that were a bit annoying, but it was good. I think that like we also like we started on time, we finished on time. It was mad. There was no like, there's like, because sometimes some of the other shows had like musical errors or whatever. But everything was fine. Everything worked. Like we had some like people drop out and then got replaced and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a fucking interesting year, and we announced our dates for next year, which got the flag back out. Lust for Death 2, which is going to be a bit fucking mad. I want to try and top ourselves again, but let's see.
Just watch some old FMW tapes and see what Anita did, and then just say, fuck it, we'll do it in a field in Scotland.
You imagine trying to do something like that in the church?
You're going to need a fucking prayer and a half for that, mate. They're going to look at that fucking mortgage like, we've lost the deposit. Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Well, we're screwed on that part. But obviously, a full year, and obviously Ultraviolet Referendum was the first show. I want to know your thoughts on what was like navigating the Scottish wrestling scene as a start-up from the Ultraviolet to Liquid Filth now.
No. It's been a bit odd. I still think, and like this isn't me like being critical of like Scottish wrestling or anything. I still feel like we're on like the outside of Scottish wrestling. Obviously, we're a Scottish wrestling company, but we're primarily a deathmatch company. Like we do use a lot of Scottish talent, and like we're in Scotland. But I still feel as if we're part of the Scottish wrestling scene. We've obviously got links with Valor and W3L. Like Mike Musso from W3L like does our ring and everything like that. But I still kind of feel as if we're kind of on the outer edges of it, just to try and keep ourselves separate on an island all to ourselves, just because there's quite a lot of drama in Scottish wrestling. But it's saying that, like, I think I'll be going to my first ever SWE show at the start of December, which I've never been to, which is weirdly enough across the road from the church. Literally across the street. The building across the street is where they're running their show, so I'll be going to that. And I'll probably go to another W3L show in Kinghorn towards the end of the year. But I'm very fucking happy that we've not got anything until next year, because it's good to get a break.
Mate, tell you what, I'm just so happy I don't have to pay for train tickets to anywhere that I don't know where the fuck I'm going. I'm like, yes, relaxation. I get to stay in my own humble abode for a change, which is nice. I mean, fair play. It's not too far. It's not like traveling down to London or anything like that, but I'll take the win. Mm-hmm. But obviously, as I mentioned, starting up with the Ultraviolet Referendum, then Lust for Death, the inaugural tournament, Ice and Wire, then Double Death Day, and then to Liquid Filth. I want to know your thought process from each show and what you've maybe learned from each show going into the next, about maybe change of plans or something you wanted to do, didn't do. How do you feel you've learned from each show until the 1 year anniversary?
Don't do 2 shows in one day. that's a bit of advice. Don't book as many matches. I feel like sometimes I've overbooked some stuff, certainly with ultraviolet's referendum. But in fairness for doing that, at that time when that happened, that was possibly going to be the only show. So I kind of thought, let's fucking go all out. The tournament was pretty mental. But I'd still say probably Wire Nice is probably my favourite show that we've done. Just the combination of like storylines and stuff, and it was outside. We'll be back there again next year. We've got our dates booked in there for July 26th and the 2 days in September, the 6th and 7th, I think. But yeah, just, I don't know. Also probably beneficial to like not get fucked up and wasted like days before shows, and actually try and like maybe eat more when there's show days on and stuff like that. But yeah, there's been a lot of things that I would change and stuff, but in general I'm pretty happy with what we've done.
Of course, your favorite show is the one I wasn't at, you cheeky git, when I was stuck across that way across the road.
I think it was, in all genuine seriousness, I think the two, like the Lust for Death tournament was huge. Like that was the first ever proper like Scottish deathmatch tournament. That was a really, really big show. I think that's probably like our biggest draw for a show that we've had. But I think Wire Nice and Liquid Filth were two of the shows where they felt the most organised, and they felt like they ran the best, and we finished like on time. And they also kind of started roughly about the same time as well. So I don't know if that's like a sweet spot for going forward. Because I know a lot of shows, like they start at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and fuck that. Like starting like that late. I mean, to be fair, you've got a lot of time. Like you've got a lot of build up like throughout the day and everything. But I think for when we finished Liquid Filth, it was like 7:30, sort of. Round about 7:30. And I think by the time we got out after cleaning up all the shit, it was like 9:30. And like I feel like that's like a fairly decent time for us to get finished and stuff. Like on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, it's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I think definitely the tournament, Wire Nice, the double death day was mentally straining on me for many different reasons. But it was still, I still won't ever forget doing stuff like that. I'm still very, very happy that I did it. It was a bit fucking mad and a bit mental for doing all 2 things in one day. But now I think with doing that, we've got Dundee, the church, and we've got the Ice Factory as our sort of 2 sort of main venues going forward for like indoor shows and outside shows. But I mean, the Ice Factory's also still got like a big canopy. So I know we're doing July and we're doing the very start of September, so it's still going to be kind of warm, hopefully.
Well, I've got my suit, so I can stay toasty, because I literally had to put it on when we were in the church because it was fucking freezing as anything there. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. But I think for those sort of venues as well, I think the church is a lot more better suited for deathmatch shows rather than the hotel that we were using. Even though the hotel was amazing, just a pain in the ass to clean up everything because of all the fucking carpets. But I think the church looks aesthetically better for death matches. But yeah, so the first year it was good. I think it was good. It was a lot of stress and a lot of hassle. Learned a lot of things, and I'm surprised that we're still going after a year. But yeah, onwards and upwards into next year. And I think what we've done is what Kumite do and TNT do, and I know Progress and stuff do this as well, where we've announced all our dates in advance of the year. So, and I'm also going to be, I think I was going to speak to you about this before we went on, but I'm probably going to use a different system for tickets this time.
Oh.
Because as good as Eventbrite are, and I know a lot of people use Eventbrite, they do take quite a major cut of the fees for the tickets, and also as well from a promoter's standpoint, you're sometimes waiting upwards of 10 days to 2 weeks to actually get the money back from a show. And a lot of the money for that show is you're using to pay people, so you're kind of putting yourself out of pocket for a couple of weeks until you're actually getting the money back. So we're going to try and work around doing the tickets, and the ones for Lust for Death will hopefully be up within the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a few announcements for some mental fucking names that are going to be coming in for Lust for Death on April the 12th.
Oh, good. It's going to be an absolute fantastic. I mean, are you going to be embracing Ticketmaster and their dynamic pricing? I mean,
I mean, I don't know. I think shout out to Rise. They just did their 10th anniversary at the weekend and a sellout show at the Archive in Leeds. I've been there a couple of times. It's a fucking sick venue. They do all their tickets like in-house. Like they do it all themselves, and they work out that way, and it seems to work relatively well for them. So maybe something like that. But there's like 90,000 different ticket sites that aren't Eventbrite. So yeah, it's just to try and work out what's best for us and what's best for everybody else, to be honest.
I mean, digital age, everyone will have apps and accessibility to these sites. So, I mean, like I know Progress, Riot Cabaret, and even Red Pro use like Dice or something like that, which is a ticketing service. So, I mean, there's multiple avenues for you to go forward. And I'm sure no matter what, people are going to be able to have accessibility to tickets and all that. But obviously, you mentioned the church there, and Bleeding Gums, to my knowledge, if I'm remembering correctly, because I like to think I'm pretty good at this, you've had 5 different venues over the course of the year. Obviously, the one in Edinburgh, you did the Freeway show, which is at the Grand Old Osprey, you did the Ice Factory, you've done the Beverage Park, and then you've done, obviously, the church, so that's 5. Each venue having its own atmosphere and positives and negative. Is there one that you personally look at you think is your favorite, and is there one of them that you think is an absolute shithole and you would never want to touch with a 10-foot pole?
Fuck the Summer Hall. No, the venue was really good, but it was just the amount of like hassle we got. But then it was our first show, so it was. I don't think they really knew what they were getting themselves in for. I would say my favorite venue that is the Ice Factory, just for the way it is. It's kind of like I don't know. It's just because it's outside. There's like a huge big space. There's a bar right there. It's just I don't know. It's just I think the Ice Factory is probably the best one, but the church as well. Like I'm saying, the only downside of the church is backstage is quite small, whereas the Ice Factory's backstage is pretty big. The other backstage bits of the other places have been pretty big. But yeah, places have got pros and cons. But I would say Ice Factory is probably the best one that we've had, and I would say maybe the hotel, the Beverage Park Hotel's maybe the worst, but that's just because it takes a fucking long time to clean up all the glass. But it's just because a lot of it's carpets. And obviously everybody's backstage and there's blood and beer and shit all over the floor. And yeah, it took like for getting out of there for Lust for Death and other ones, you're talking like 3.5, 4 hours to clean up everything, which was great.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that bloodstain's still on the canopy near the disco ball from the original.
Probably. I mean, in all fairness, like we could end up going back there at some point, but for the time being, the church and the Ice Factory, and then we're also going down to England in May as well, which is a bit mad.
We're going to be getting to that 100% sure, but I would love to know, obviously, kind of with deathmatch shows, they have their iconic arena that they build their whole personality and imagery around. Those I know Hangar 13 for TNT Extreme. I know Rise has one as well that I don't know on the top of my head. I can slap my wrist on that for that one. Obviously, ECW has the ECW Arena. Do you think maybe the church could become that for Bleeding Gums with the iconic arena and imagery for it?
I hope so. I think it's good to just have a variety of different places that you can use. Like Rise used to have like Eiger Studios that I've been to a lot, but then they chop and change. Like Rise have been there, like Leeds and Sheffield, and they move all over the place. TNT's predominantly like Hangar or Fusion Nightclub in Liverpool, so they've got like 2 places as well. Kumite did have Vines. Unfortunately, their outdoor venue is now being bought over by somebody else, so now they're doing the Hairy Dog, which is a venue that I was at as well when I was fucked up. When was that? I can't remember when that was. A couple of months ago. But yeah, hopefully the church and the Ice Factory, I would say. And like to me, like I just want a fucking warehouse with a bar in it. Like I just want the easiest thing. But then if you're gonna do warehouse type stuff, it means that they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. If that makes sense. So it's like the church is like right in the centre of Dundee. The Ice Factory's kind of in the centre of Perth. It's maybe a 10-15 minute walk from the train station. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with both those places going forward.
It's going to be absolutely fun as well. And obviously within 2024, obviously crowned the inaugural Bleeding Gums UK Deathmatch champion in Michael Caden. Legacy of that belt, obviously 3 defenses from Caden before dropping it to Harab. Then Alton Thorne pulling the wheel, dirty handshake and becoming the champion as well. Had a successful defense over Tim Strange of Liquid Filth. your thoughts on the first, real year of the championship. Are you happy with its progress and how it's been received, and just your thoughts on all three champions?
I think it's been great. I think that the belt looks a lot better than I expected it to look. To be honest, I think we could easily say, without being biased, that it's probably one of the best looking belts in the UK sort of deathmatch scene, or in the UK in general. To be honest, it's a nice fucking belt. I was very, very happy for Caden. I think Caden fucking worked his arse off in that tournament. Went through fucking Clint, Jack Bennett, looking sharp, Neil Diamond Cutter in the first ever Scottish 200 light tube deathmatch. Then Jack Harrop winning it and getting it taken away from him by Alton Thorne, sort of keeping their storyline building and building and building, adding more to it. But yeah, I think it's been really, really good. And then we had Franco Fate run out and attack Tim Strange and basically cost him the title, so we could probably move forward with stuff between them two as well, leading into the tournament. But yeah, I've been very, very happy with it, and I think everybody seems to like the design, and I think people have been pretty happy with our champions, and they've always been sort of people that I don't think people would necessarily expect to be having the belt, especially in UK deathmatch.
I mean, it's a nice looking belt as well, and I truly do enjoy it. I mean, I remember when you first saw it at Backlash when it was gone from your possession, and I thought you were tearing up for a little bit. But I mean, hey, man loves his belt. But obviously, one part we did talk about was obviously Jack Harrop winning it from Caden, and then Alton Thorne pulling in the sneaky and winning the championship. And I rewatched obviously the show and all that, obviously being there in person, because I came out and actually wanted to see the whole thing go down, because I was like, oh, this is going to be really fucking good. And people were trying to like, do it now, just like have the match now. And then all of us like, right fucking now. And everybody was like, oh shit, we're doing it now.
Yeah, it was. And then we brought out even more weapons and stuff. And they beat the fuck out of each other. It was mental. It was mental, and it went over really, really well. And I was quite proud of both those two guys. And obviously that day I had to pull a Kens into Jack Harrop's head with a pair of pliers, and it was really, really good. But I think Jack Harrop obviously kind of had his big victory stolen from him, so I think he's obviously hell bent on wanting to get that championship back. And then Alton Thorne going into next year as well. Like, he's the champion going into arguably it's going to be our biggest show. So yeah, it's going to be a bit fucked up.
Yeah, because Alton's also another champion as well. Was it the Kumite Deathwolf championship as well he holds? So I mean, double champ. I mean, he does like to flaunt it all around. I mean, minus even Tim Strange coming on my show and saying he's crying like a little bitch. But hey, I digress. I mean, Alton's been funny with me, obviously, since he's won that championship. I think he's got his head up on his own arse sometimes. Obviously, he's choked me with my tie. There's a beautiful tie that I do like. He's getting a bit brash and cautious.
He's an angry man. He's an angry man. But I was there for when he won the Deathwolf Championship as well at Kumite. So yeah, we were down there for that. He beat Darko for the title, but he's been part of Kumite since their inception as well. So now he's double champion for both companies. Kumite are fucking awesome. Got a lot of time for those guys. So yeah, he's doing a fucking fair bit for himself, and proving that he's fucking really, really fucking good. So yeah, very, very, very proud of Alton Thorne, and Jack Harrop fucking hates him and wants to take that fucking belt back. So we've got a lot of stuff moving into next year, like I said, with Franco Fate and Tim Strange, and for the tournament. Which, I mean, it sounds mental just now, but it's like it's maybe 4 months away, 5 months away. Yeah. But that'll pass. Like, that's what I've noticed is, like, the more you sort of live your life around wrestling shows, time just flies, and then suddenly it's the next show, then suddenly it's the next show. So so the tournament will be 2 days before a lot of the guys are away for WrestleMania weekend. So they'll probably be getting off that plane in America limping and hobbling and covered in bandages and shit like that. So yeah, because Big Lou Nixon, Tim Strange, Iceman, Jack Harrop, Big Joe, they're all away over in Vegas for WrestleMania weekend. So yeah, and they'll all be at the fucking tournament. so it's going to be interesting for those guys. So they'll have like 1 day of rest, and then they'll be off to fucking America.
Yeah, I can imagine I'll probably be, because I'm planning to go to WrestleMania next year as well. I'll be the only one actually, feeling less pain or no pain. Just like, I'm feeling good. Like, where were you? I was at a fucking deathmatch tournament. Did you do anything? No, fucking really, but I feel fine. Fuck it. But I mean, obviously, I think something with Bleeding Gums as well. Obviously, you've have the UK Deathmatch Championship, but you obviously showcased a lot more of tag teams this year as well. Obviously, British Top Team, Legends Never Die, Straight Edge, Violence as well. So you've had that sort of aspect there as well. Is that something we could expect more of in Bleeding Gums next year? Are you really looking to maybe add more to a tag team division?
Oh yeah, we're going to have tag team belts. We're going to have tag team belts. The plan was we were potentially going to have them at the tournament, but I feel to make them more special, we'll probably be doing it later into the year, because just for the fact that there's going to be a big tournament there, and there's going to be some other non-tournament matches with some other fucked up fucking people, and there's going to be some big names. I feel like it would be kind of lost in the shuffle of all this stuff that's going on. So I think to give it its like due, and it'll be new championships that I think we'll be doing it later into the year, and give them a proper tag team title, big defense, main event type thing, and we can go fucking all out with it instead of it's just another match on a tournament show that's not part of the tournament.
Right, fair dues as well. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. Well, because did you not say like earlier, like obviously a few appearances ago, that you said what the UK Deathmatch Championship took 6 weeks to make from manufacturing?
Yeah, which is pretty quick. I was expecting it to take a lot longer, but yeah, I got the design done and then it got made and then it just arrived at my house, and I was like, what the fuck's this? Because I was expecting it to be for like ages and ages. But I was worried because I was thinking, because that was the winner of Lust for Death got the belt. And I was panicking because I was like, if this belt's not here in time, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? So I think this year we're going to have a trophy for that. And I mean, I'll just announce on this, the winner of Lust for Death is #1 contender as we move into, which will be our July show. So that's the prize for that. Because I mean, I know a lot of people love it, and I know a lot of people can't wait for the Royal Rumble. I love the Royal Rumble. I hate when every single independent wrestling company under the sun has a Rumble on a January or February show. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's fine, but it's just every single company, whether it's family, deathmatch, or otherwise, they always have that. And everybody always has a bit of fucking glass on my table. Everybody always has like a Money in the Bank-esque thing as well. I hate that. It's like, I don't want to do either of those things. So yeah, so basically, winner of this, we kind of do old King of the Ring style, where the winner of King of the Ring would get like the title shot at SummerSlam type thing. So winner of Lust for Death, #1 contender, and they'll get a trophy. But the trophy's yet to be made, but it is being made secretly as we speak.
Is it going to be 10 foot tall? Is it going to have brass rings around it? Is it going to be
no
fancy?
idea? I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I've got somebody making it, and then they're very, very good at what they do, so they can just make it, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I hope it's big enough we can like pour bottles of beer in it and then drink out of it.
Like probably get like a thing where it's got like a bit in it where you can drink out of it. I could probably ask for that to be done.
Do it, come on! You know you fucking want it. We just roll up a big beer tab and like, yeah, this is the fucking way.
That was one thing that I do want to do for next year. I don't know when I'm going to announce doing them, but we're going to have new shirts, new hats. I did have my hat somewhere, but I don't know where I've put it. That's over there. I'll grab it just now. 2 seconds.
On you go, son. On you go. Look at that. A merch exclusive. Things you can buy.
We had like 5 of them and they all sold out. So it's just Pro Blood, Pro Glass, Pro Wrestling. Pro Wrestling. So we've got hats. We're going to have new shirts. Probably going to have like purple on the shirts. We're going to have something on them. And then we're also, what I want to do is do shot glasses and pint glasses.
Oh.
Get them, because it goes with the territory, to be honest. So yeah, we're going to have new merch into the new year. And I'm also going to do some stuff for the website, because a lot of the times before when I was getting orders and stuff, they were getting delayed through like an email address that I was using. So I'm going to change everything about, change all the ticket stuff, change everything. So it's just going to be a fresh new year. New merch, new all sorts of shit, and a new tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're really going for a whole revamp of just everything. Is that just new year, new stuff, or is it just with how successful the year's been, you've been enjoying it? Good, you feel like you got to step it up with like presentation wise?
I want to step up. I just want us to have more merch. I want everything. I want the shows to be out quick as fuck. Like I think that's been one of the things as well. So like waiting like a month or two to get like the shows out and stuff on IDB TV. Like I want to get that faster. I want to do more merchandise. I want to do tickets in house. Like I want to do all sorts of different things that are just they're better financially for me, and they work out better for the fans in the long run because it means everybody's getting everything a lot quicker. But so it'll probably take more of a mental toll and a lot more time for me behind the scenes to do stuff like that. But I've got a fair few people that are helping me out with various different things. So yeah, so it should be good. And then into the next year, we can keep going and building and building and building.
Building them up like mega blocks, mate. I mean, hey, it's going to be an absolute fun part on there. But I think the fans as well, they're very grateful for Bleeding Gums from what I've seen. Dedications in the post, excitements for the announcement of obviously the tour you're having next year. I mean, I even saw somebody had a Bleeding Gums tattoo on their ankle or something like that.
Yeah, that's Gary. That was mental. When he messaged me, he was like, I got something to show you. And I was like, oh God. I was like, what is it? And then he showed me his tattoo and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, that's mental. I was like, of like, somebody's got the logo on their fucking leg. I was like, that's pretty fucking mad. So yeah, fucking shout out to him for getting that done because that's fucking nuts. In all fairness, but it just shows the dedication that we do have from people because like him and various other different people, like they're always first to buy tickets. They'll go to every single show that we do and stuff. So we're sort of slowly but surely building like our sort of core audience in Scotland. And potentially England as well as we go down south in May.
Yes, that's definitely going to be exciting as well. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll have a couple come to you and be like, you know what? We love Bleeding Gums so much. We've decided to name our first child Andrew. And then you could be
God,
like, oh,
imagine that. That would give me the fear. That'd be cool though.
Mother, how was I named? Yeah, you were named after this guy who did a really cool fucking deathmatch tournament, son. Fucking like,
I'd be happy. I'd be kind of freaked out, but I'd be quite happy about it. I'd certainly post about it on social media. I'd certainly tell my girlfriend about it, and she'd sneer at me. But
oh, the fun community indeed. Obviously, we talked about with the deathmatch tournaments and tag teams, but obviously, I noticed especially with Liquid Filth, it was equally like normal single wrestling matches and deathmatch wrestling matches.
Yep.
Was that just a new approach to building the cards, maybe seeing other names that you wanted to have on, didn't obviously want to do death matches, but they're very talented. Just your thoughts on obviously with Liquid Filth and its card of having 50-50 of single normal matches and then the death match aspect to it.
It was just to do something different. It was just there's like a lot of people that have been mentioned to me that we've never really had the opportunity to use. Like somebody like Ian Skinner, for example, Daisy Jenkins, Skull Brawl, like these are all different people that have been mentioned to me like countless times, and they've just never ever really had like a spot or space for them. So it was just kind of like we had space for them with other people who weren't available in the show and that. And I was like, you know what? We are still a wrestling company at the end of the day. Why not? And I thought it went quite well. And we had Not Safe for Mothers versus Legends Never Die, beating the shit out of each other with chairs and doing balcony dives and shit. Yunji Maki versus Ian Skinner. Yeah, it was good. It was different. Yeah. And it saved a lot of mess. But then again, they made 3 death matches. So, but I felt like that was a decent way to do it. Possibly do more of that in the future, where we're doing sort of 50-50. Obviously, it won't be like that in the tournament. The tournament will be 100,000% all death matches. And I've got ideas for some of those death matches as well that will be announced at a later date, where some of the stuff's never been done in the UK before. So,
what fucking shit have you got? You had the fucking no rope barbed wire death match. You've had, what is it going to be like? I don't know, cross warfare where people are just beating themselves out of cross and a Bible.
I mean, I wouldn't say what it is, but like we've got some ideas. Shout out to Brian. Put our minds together, our sick minds together, and come up with some fucked up stuff for the tournament. But yeah, that'll be 1,100% death matches, all death matches. But then going forward to like into May in England and then July and September and stuff, we'll have a mixture of everything because we've kind of had that on most of the shows that aren't tournaments. But a lot of the stuff at Double Death Day was heavily deathmatch, but it's kind of comes with the territory, to be honest.
Do you think it surprised you with deathmatch crowds being very receptive to the non-deathmatch type matches? Because I remember when I was there at Liquid Filth, people were really loving Legends Never Die match. People loved Ian Skinner versus Eugene Mackey. Did that surprise you that they were so receptive to that kind of wrestling?
No, I mean, a lot of them. At the end of the day, they're still wrestling fans, even if they are deathmatch fans. And then it just because I feel like a lot of the other places that do deathmatch in the UK, it's the same thing like that. It kind of builds to a crescendo of stuff, unless it's a tournament, obviously. Like, if you're going to do some stuff at Rise or Kumite or TNT, if they're not a tournament show, there's a lot of times where it is like 50, 70% of the stuff's non-deathmatch, and then it becomes that towards the end. So yeah, I think it's good to do that. But then again, I do like just starting off fucking hot like we did at Wire Nice, and we had gusset plates and light tubes from the get-go. But it just depends. It just depends. I think everybody liked it. There was a lot of people that were coming up to me that had never been to a wrestling show before or a deathmatch show, and were thanking me and saying it was really, really good and stuff while I was like running around. So that was nice in Dundee on a Sunday. But
wow. You got them right hook and sinker right into the deep end with that kind of stuff. You ease them in with normal wrestling and then light tubes and all that shit and that fucking massive nail board.
That's still sat in the hallway. That's weird. It's like my missus is like, she's like, you need to put that upstairs because I usually keep all the gimmicks like in my attic. And I'm like, how the fuck am I meant to put that upstairs? It's fucking heavy as shit. What am I meant to do with it? So I think what we're going to do next year is we're probably going to like invest in a lockup because my house, just when there's days or weeks before shows, my house is full of fucking shit. Like, I've got 12 sheets of glass that we picked up a couple of weeks ago in my hallway, and a bed of nails and gusset plates and fucking kendo sticks, and like there's about over like 1,500 light tubes in my attic. So it's like it's probably more beneficial and also I live in a flat, so it means we have to take all these things from my attic down to my hallway, then down the stairs, then into a van. So if we get a lockup, it means we can have everything all nice, and my house doesn't just become a tip of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, this studio's becoming a bit of the tip of all the fucking wrestling gear I've bought and replica belts everywhere. So I mean, it says building an image. I need to fucking clean out in the spring.
At least they're not like nail boards or like razor blade boards covered in blood or like weed whackers or fucking canvases and chairs and the amount of chairs that get fucked at shows. And then you have to do chair restoration.
Have you not got a system for like? I remember you were saying at Liquid Filth marking the ones that are fucked and the ones that work. Like,
it's just to avoid people embarrassment, because if they're gonna sit on a chair that's not fucked, it's fine. But they sit in a chair that's fucked, they'll fall on their arse. Or if they're going to use them to set up a spot, it's like they're going to break. So we've got to. I think I've went through about 30 chairs, maybe more than that this year, and I think I've maybe got like 3 that are like functional chairs, but they're all still covered in dents and shit. But we'll need to get more chairs for next year.
Next year will be fun indeed. Now, I remember, obviously, Andrew, when you were on the show in the past, you mentioned Bleeding Gums. Ideally, you would like to have maybe 3 championships for it. Obviously, the UK Deathmatch Championship, you mentioned, obviously, introducing tags. That last third spot, obviously, Liquid Filth had the first women's match on the card, but also there's a lot of wrestlers maybe not wanting to do death matches. That third spot, I guess in your mind, would probably still be open to interpretation of what you want to put into that third championship spot. But maybe like, is there maybe something in your mind buzzing that you would like to introduce for that third championship spot?
I would say a Scottish championship. Leave it vague, because that way it means that we could also have girls fighting for it as well. We could have anybody fighting for it. Have a Scottish championship for people that don't necessarily want to be hitting the head with chairs or bleed profusely and things like that. Because we do always have, like certainly Eugene Mackey wrestles all our shows, and he never really does death matches. We had him against Ian Skinner and things like that. Daisy Jenkins, Ruby Roberts. So probably just a Scottish championship. We'll probably look into that further into next year as we try and navigate to 2025. Because already it's looking a bit fucking mental, to be honest. But
Yeah.
should be good.
2025 is looking very packed as well, because obviously, Andrew, obviously I have to ask your thoughts on this as well. There's another hardcore deathmatch company appearing to be emerging within Glasgow.
Yes.
Hardcore Wrestling of Glasgow, HWOG. It's a long title. I want to know your thoughts. Do you feel like this is this company came about because of obviously what you've done within the scene, or do you think it's just a natural?
I think so. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that maybe for better or for worse. I'm not saying necessarily this is true. I don't know. But I'd say, like, for better or for worse, that if we hadn't have started up, a lot of places wouldn't be trying to do over 18s deathmatchy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's either a positive or a negative on our point. For that company there, I think fair play to them. Fucking go for it. I think be a decent show. Be the first time that they've ever done anything like that. But I think it can only be a good thing. More over 18 stuff. The more over 18 stuff there is, it gives us more people that we can possibly use in our shows. Because like I say, we don't run every fucking month. We're running what are we doing? One show in England, not including the show in England. April, Jan, July, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're doing like 5 shows next year, apart from that one in England. We're not running every month, so yeah, it's good. It's good. But I mean, I don't know if other companies in Glasgow will be very happy about it. But then again, that's just wrestling politics, isn't it? It's always the way that this is going to happen. Like we're running Dundee and Perth, other people running Dundee and Perth, even though they're a different demographic from us. There's people running everywhere, doing everything. So it's at some point people are going to be very happy, and other people aren't going to be very happy about it. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it.
Hey, see what happens, and if it does well, just means more for the wrestling business. But obviously, your thoughts on obviously this as a fan of wrestling, do you think that makes Glasgow quite a dense city with wrestling? Because that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 or 8 companies running out of one city.
Yeah,
it's quite a lot just for one city.
I'm gonna grab mother beer, and I'll hold that thought.
Oh, he's holding that thought and making up his opinion. He'll be developing his answers for that type of question, folks. I mean, I'm on the edge of this plastic IKEA chair right now, thinking of what he's going to develop. I think it's going to be a big one, a big fucking answer. I can hear him in the background laughing. He's got a good he's got drink and a good answer.
What did you ask me? I was waiting to do that. No, I think. No, genuinely, what did you actually ask me? You asked me a question.
I asked you if like 8 companies running out of Glasgow. Do you think?
Oh, right, okay, right. So, yes, 100% it is. I think there's a lot of companies running in Glasgow. But then I posted, I don't know who it was that wrote it, but it made me laugh. Like I posted our dates on the Facebook page or whatever, and somebody wrote, they were like, "Oh, it's a shame you're not coming to Glasgow." And then there was another person that wrote, "Oh, it's a shame you're not doing another show in Edinburgh." And I was like, there's plenty of fucking wrestling in Edinburgh and in Glasgow. It's like, just travel, just get a train, like, fuck me. But there's a lot of wrestling that goes on in Glasgow. Obviously, we're friends with Valor, obviously want them to do the best that they possibly can, and they are doing really, really well. But for us, it's not as if we've decided or chosen to do shows in Kirkcaldy or Dundee or Perth. They're just the places that are willing to have us do death matches. There's a lot of places that I've went that have said fuck off, no. Well, they've maybe been a bit more polite than that, but so yeah, there's a lot of wrestling in Glasgow. So I think that even if we even attempted to try and do anything, even if it was like with Valor or etc., like it's just there's so much wrestling in Glasgow that I feel like everybody's just trying to take away from everybody else, but it's wrestling. That's what's going to happen. So we can wait and see what's going to happen with that. Hopefully everybody makes some money and we get some decent matches out of it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Glasgow doesn't turn into a situation like the Warriors or something like that, with like gangs all meeting up and ready to scrap and fight. And it's like,
I'm sure I've seen that. Is there ones where they're dressed like baseball people?
Yeah, it's an old movie. It's an old movie for the old. It's for the old folks.
It's a musical.
No, it's not. That's Westlife Story.
Oh right, yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Fucking Jesus, we need to get
I don't know. I only watch horror films. I don't watch things like that.
He has a taste for Terrifier 3 and everything
I've
else.
seen it. Terrifier 3 is fine, but it's just like I'm all right. It's a bit tame.
Wait, you thought Terrifier? Did you think Terrifier 3 was tamed?
No, tame.
Oh fuck! I was like, it was like some crazy shit in that movie, like a fucking
I
child.
know, but it was just. I'm like, I don't know. It kind of seems like it was completely off topic, but like, you know how that fucking the Barbie movie and that Oppenheimer movie like became that Barbenheimer thing.
Oh yeah, Oppenbarber or whatever it was.
It was
yeah.
like this thing, like all these people, and it became like a social media thing. That people went and saw it. So like Terrifier 3 was good. I enjoyed it. It was gory, it was bloody, and I enjoyed it. But I feel like it was all just because like people, like, oh my god, it's the most gory film of all time. You're gonna vomit in your seat. You're gonna pass out. Oh my, and it's like it's not even that bad. It's kind of a crap plot with gore that's really good in it. The gore's great. Art the Clown's brilliant. Like his mannerisms and shit are really funny. But I was just kind of like, after I'd seen it, I was like, I wasn't vomiting all over myself and like needing to go to the hospital or anything. I was like, it was fine. But I'm glad that films like that are making money at the box office though.
Oh yeah,
we can get more gore.
It has done very well and became sort of a popular icon as well. Like I had mates of mine, they were like, "Oh, it's quite intense," and it was like, I've seen worse in person, and it was like,
well, that's what I mean. But it's just like a lot of it's like the like plot. Someone's calling my PC. There's like the plot of it. I'm just like, just get to the killing. Some of it was really funny, not to ruin the amazing plot of Terrifier 3. But but I just thought there was like bits of it where I feel like it needed a director's cut, where there was bits that didn't really make a lot of sense, and then suddenly like Art and the woman thing were like in the house at the end, and I was like, is this a dream? Then it wasn't a dream, and I was like, how did they get there?
Yeah,
I was like, how did that happen? But it doesn't matter. But off topic, Art the Clown and Terrifier.
Probably we'll enjoy it.
Better than Salem's Lot. I'll tell you that for fucking free. What a shit film that was.
Oh fucking no, god! Spoilers for Terrifier 3, folks. If you have not seen it, skip ahead. Obviously, like the ending of that is like hell opens up and then like shit.
Oh yeah, good. That little girl died. That was funny. She was annoying. I hated her. She was reading through her diary and that. What a little bitch.
Oh god! Like, because isn't there like, if I remember correctly, like someone dies from like a rat as well, like force fed a rat and it explodes.
Well, they kind of they open her mouth and put like a big plastic tube thing in it, hammer it in with a hammer, and then her jaw's essentially broken, and then they force a rat down her throat, and then they slash her throat, and the rat comes out her throat, right? But she's probably already dead by then anyway. But like, but the little girl was funny because she's like, "Oh my god, mom, oh my god!" And you're like, her dad's decapitated heads on top of the Christmas tree. Like, who's the favorite parent in that relationship? Little girl. His body's on the wall, being crucified to the wall, and his organs have been put in the tree, and his head's in the tree. Mum. She never even mentioned him once. Little bitch. Anyway.
So, is there anything you're going to use that in Bleeding Gums? We're getting like a rat in a tube match or something like that?
No, you wouldn't be able to do anything like that anymore because they used to use, well, in Japan and America, they would use leeches and piranhas and crocodiles. There was a match, pool leeches match. They took leeches out and were stapling them to each other's heads and shit. It was fucking ridiculous. But you couldn't do anything like that now because people would be like, oh no, the animal rights, blah, blah, blah. So won't be able to use any animals, unfortunately.
Yeah, like we don't want the RSPCA knocking down the door like a SWAT team.
But it's quite cruel. It's quite cruel, in all fairness.
Sure. Right. We'll avoid all that. But obviously, the Life Will Kill You Tour 2025. I mean, I remember when you first sent it to me, and I was immediately like, "Is this a Columbo reference?" Turns out it's not. So
there's no Columbo references this year, unfortunately.
Whoa!
I've already got the names for all the shows as well. It's very what's the word for it? There's a theme. It's all very misanthropic, though. It's clever that way.
Right. Okay. But yeah, the tour. Obviously, we'll get into April 12th, Lust for Death in Dundee. May 31st in England, the first venture of Bleeding Gums down to England. What was it that made you want to go in this decision to go down south for the first time?
I won't announce why or where or who quite yet, because it's all I'll say is it was an idea that I had for a while that I want to do with some other people, but it won't just be us. Bleeding Gums won't be alone. It'll be a joint project of sorts. But yeah, it was something that I wanted to do for a while, and then we managed to get the place and the venue and the guys involved and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be good, and it should be something different for us and for people in England and people in Scotland and stuff like that. And I won't announce where it is or anything, but I'll just say for people in Scotland, they won't have very far to travel. That's all I'll say.
Hey, victory for us. That's what I like to hear right there. And then, obviously, July 26th is going back to Perth. And then you have a weekender show on September 6th and September 7th. Obviously, not on the same day. Hooray. But spreading across that weekend, is there maybe going to theme behind this weekend? Is it going to be maybe a tournament or something like that? Or is there
double death? Well, it won't be double death day, but we'll be joined by some out-of-towners, you might call them. But it'll be essentially double death day, what it was, but it'll be over 2 days. Which I think will be a lot better for my mental health, my mental well-being. It might not be better for anybody else's mental health or well-being, because it means everybody gets fucked up in the fucking first night. But we will be joined by some friends for that. So just wanted to make it 2 days and just sort of go fucking mental for it. And it's the 6th and 7th of September. My birthday's on September 4th. So it'll be my 35th birthday. So I was like, fuck it. Let's have some sort of mad fucking party. Be interesting. But yeah, so the July and the September shows are all at Ice Factory.
So I'm guessing it's not going to be called Bleeding Gums Wrestling Birthday Bash, no?
No, I can't even remember what I've even called those shows. I do have them on my phone. But there's a motif. There's a motif. Very clever. You see, without being at university and trying to, these are the only things I put time and effort into. It's the stupid names. But the Life Will Kill You tour is a motif for the entire year for the names of shows and stuff like that. So I don't know why. Don't ask me why. These are the things I do in my free time.
It's going to be fun. And then obviously finally November 29th, the final show of 2025 will be in Dundee. That is the Life Will Kill You tour. You mentioned obviously it having a theme throughout the entire year of 2025. Obviously I know you can't reveal obviously the names of the shows and plans for them, but what was it about Life Will Kill You that made you want to go with that name for the tour of next year?
Just because I think that for deathmatch wrestling, everything's very misanthropic and everything's basically like there's no sort of life without death. It's all very arty. It's all very arty-farty, isn't it? But no, it was more I could make the names as miserable as I possibly wanted. For a lot of the stuff that I like, they're all references to songs or comedy or things like that. But yeah, it was more just sort of like, like life's fucking shit. Let's fucking make the best of it. And obviously, without deathmatch wrestling, there is no life. That's kind of the whole ethos of the company.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if there's no Bleeding Gums, I wouldn't have gotten my start in in-person interviewing, so I have to give you that props there. I mean,
no problem at all.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey as well. I mean, I've done stuff for yourself at pretty much every show except obviously Wire and Ice, which I was not there for. That whole journey of just like me doing stuff you've always been truly grateful for. But I'd love to know from yourself, Andrew, your thoughts on what I brought to Bleeding Gums and having that interview aspect of, Bleeding Gums Wrestling.
I enjoy it. I think it's very, very good. You're our mean gene. You're the person that is. But the thing is I don't necessarily need to give you specifics for anything. I just say, go and do it, and you go and do it, and it's always good. So yeah, so I'm very, very proud of you for doing that for us, and it makes our production and everything a lot more professional for having you there.
Yeah, well, you say go, I go. That's the main wave. Then we've had some great interviews out of it. Obviously, one I always look forward to going back to is obviously the Alton Foreign after his title win with the tie grab. quite fun. Skull Brawl stapling me was fun.
I forgot about Skull Brawl being there for that as well. Interesting guys, but yeah, as long as the suit was all right afterwards.
Oh, the tie blocked it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So
Then.
I had my bulletproof armor there. Obviously, one that I kind of enjoyed with its aspect of how it was filmed in the presentation was Tombi and Veronica.
Yes.
They're quite a fun pairing, those two.
I think it's like a lot of the times I have ideas, and usually they work. Touch wood, but yeah, I think they're great together. To be honest,
because always like to my knowledge within UK wrestling, like her and ICW's Denise are really the only kind of female managers to my knowledge. Like it's kind of a lost art.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we don't really have. Try to think of anybody else really. Even managers in general is more or less like a lost art. Yeah, it's her and Denise. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I was gonna say Valor, but that's her because she's with God's Country. So yeah, pretty much. I think that it's good. Like manager stuff's always excellent. I always think it's good. I want to try and do more of that into next year. Bring some people in, do some stuff. But yeah, I think like we did that stuff with her and Jasmine St. Clair and everything at Double Death Day. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to have Veronica for all her stuff, which is great.
Yeah, she really is indeed. And we mentioned obviously touching there on managers being a lost art, and you want to maybe reintroduce that with next year with Bleeding Gums. Is there anyone you would like to see have a manager that's been a part of Bleeding Gums that you think would really benefit from having a manager aspect of their time with Bleeding Gums?
Oh God, I don't know. See that's a question because I could just name managers and say I could put them with different people, but like I don't know because it has to fit, the aesthetic and has to fit the characters and stuff like that. I don't know. I would need to get back to you on that because I'm not too sure. Like I could just say just put the Sinister Minister with anybody. I don't know if he's going to travel all the way here, unfortunately.
Well, maybe we give him first class tickets and we'll have some real fun there. But obviously with Bleeding Gums, obviously we've mentioned the Bleeding Gum Championships are in place of the UK Deathmatch Championship, but you've had other companies' titles defended within the promotion as well. Obviously CXW, but I believe you've had their tag championships as well, so their Extreme and Tag Team Championships.
Yeah,
and that's the only real company, if I'm correct, right? Or did Neil Diamond Cutter not bring over a belt?
Neil Diamond Cutter brought over the unsanctioned pro hardcore title, which he defended in the 4-way at the first show, which we did a little promo when we were at the castle. But yeah, but I think that was it. And then we had Lou Nixon defended the Rise Deathmatch Championship, I think against Dean Ford in the first show. But then the stuff with CXW are awesome. They just recently had their second over 18 show, deathmatch show. The guy who runs it, Paris, is fucking sound as fuck. Got a lot of time for them. So yeah, so the BTT are their tag team champions, with them defend the belts, and then Tim Strange was their Extreme champion. He defended against Cody Manhorn, and he just lost that at their last show to Iceman. But yeah, CXW are awesome. So happy to support them and have their belts and stuff defend on our shows, because it'd be likewise the other way as well. Good people.
Right, fair as well. And also, I know Brett Semtex has recently won back the Rise Championship off good old Darwin. Would you maybe like to see the Rise Championship defended within Bleeding Gums? Maybe Brett against somebody?
Possibly. I don't know. That would be up to Rise. That would be up to them if they're wanting their main championship, as well with CXW defending their stuff. It's always asked of me as well, and me asking them if it's fine and stuff like that. Like if Thorn was defending the Bleeding Gums Championship, I'd be asked if I was okay with that. So it would more be up to them. But Brett Semtex has done a fair fucking few bits for Bleeding Gums, doing double duty in 2 shows as well in the last year. He also fucking had that match with fucking Franco Fate in a death match with those Tokyo Towers that were a pride and joy of mine that both got absolutely fucking destroyed. And and buckets of salt and all sorts of shit. So yeah.
Fun weaponry indeed, mate. Fun weaponry indeed. It's truly fascinating to see what obviously the company's done within this 1 year span from the inaugural show to now. So many things have been done and developed, but deathmatch wrestling in itself, it's done very well worldwide. And obviously, Bloodsports was on yesterday, where Big Lou Nixon got a win. He's got his first Bloodsport win.
He knocked him out, which was good.
I mean, it's a fun match type, Bloodsports, and I think a lot of people are giving it more focus. Obviously, Munir Shafir's done stuff there. MVP had one against Josh Barnett. That Bloodsport match type, do you think, would that be ever something you'd be interested in doing? Do you think, or it'd be maybe a bit of a hassle?
I mean, maybe one match per show. I think that I'm like I'll say, I'm very, very proud of Lou Nixon. I love Lou Nixon. Lou Nixon's fucking awesome. Very, very proud for him to do anything in America. He's fucking great. The Bloodsport stuff, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. It's fine, but it's the full card. I only watched Lou Nixon's match on that Bloodsport, and I only watched Lou Nixon's match and the last Bloodsport that was at the Collective. I think it was Shayna Baszler was against Masha Slamovich.
Mm-hmm.
I think I watched that, but it's just that sort of style of wrestling. It gets a bit long in the tooth for me, but people might say that to me about deathmatch stuff. They might say that, it gets a bit much, but I think what we try and do is we try and make everything, at least if they're death matches, a bit different each time. But yeah, the Bloodsport stuff, I do it for like a match on a show, but I would never ever do a full show of it. I'd be bored.
It's again having variation and letting things breathe, and also I can imagine it'd be quite a bit of a fucking hassle to take down all the ropes. And
I mean, but you don't even have to put them up.
Yeah, true.
For the full show, I mean, in that aspect, plus the fucking the GCW show, like, it looked amazing. Like, it went really well, big crowd and everything. Everybody was happy. Josh Barnett versus MVP. Never watched it. Never will watch it. Couldn't care less. But like I'm saying, I was happy for Lou Nixon and Calvin Tankman, who wrestled, a really good wrestler as well. So I'm always happy to watch Lou Nixon do stuff, but I don't care about Bloodsport. That's the only thing I will say. But I know it's popular and a lot of people like it.
People like a lot of variation of different things. Now, obviously, GCW as well. It's going back to the Hammerstein Ballroom for the people versus GCW. I remember the World on GCW, and I fucking hated it, and I felt robbed. I fucking hated that show.
I don't understand. It's fine. It's the Hammerstein. It was, a lot of people think that was like a big, major, massive ECW venue, but they maybe had 3 pay-per-views there. 2-3 pay-per-views there altogether. The last 2, anyway, Massacre on 34th Street and Guilty's Charge 2001 were there. And obviously they've had Ring of Honor there and GCW there, and then AEW did a show there, or doing a show there.
Yeah, they're doing a show there in December, yes.
Doing a show there. Just because WWE did the ECW Arena for NXT, it seems like, grow up. but like, for the GCW stuff, like, it's cool. But for me, being a deathmatch fan, you can't use glass, you can't use barbed wire. I don't even think you can't even blade in New York. So I don't think you can anyway. You certainly can't use glass whatsoever. Like, no tubes, no glass, no barbed wire, no anything. So you're sort of stuck to tables and chairs and doors and shit, which is fine. But it's like, you're GCW, like, you wouldn't be where you are without deathmatch wrestling. So it's kind of like, if you're running that show, it's kind of like GCW light. And the last show that they did there, it was just shit. Not even from like a wrestling standpoint, it was like storyline standpoint. Like, Atticus Cogar, who's now returned to the company, he should have won the title. He got thrown away in some segment with Sabu. Fucking Jeff Jarrett and Ruby fucking Soho beat 2 of their top stars, and Ali Catch and Effie. They had a big mantle, like, fucking ladder match thing. It was I don't know, it was, but the way they're advertising it as well is, it's like, oh, sorry we fucked up for the first one. Like, that's kind of their advertising campaign. And it's like, they're all wearing the jumpsuits. I mean, the promos are amazing, don't get me wrong, but like, they're in the jumpsuits and they're like, guilty, 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 as if it's like they've done something wrong. It's like, is that the best way to advertise your next show at the Hammerstein? I don't really understand it. I'll watch it probably.
I've got Fight Plus, so I'm not giving them. I'm not paying like the 30 quid
Oh,
it was.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm fucked out of money because Cardona had a 20-minute entrance to Enter Sandman. I mean, don't get me wrong, fun song, but like fucking hell. Oh, it was good, but like I don't want that being the highlight when there's like a bunch of other matches on. I'm like, holy shit, the best part of that show was an entrance.
I remember Lucha match was good, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was good. I think wasn't the main event what John Wayne Murdoch and Gage versus the Briscoes in a 13-second.
Oh, it was Tremont and Gage versus the Briscoes, but it was like 5 minutes, and it was just like chairs and doors, and you're like, who cares?
Who cares? I mean, it's an interesting way to market your company of like, we fucked up. We know we fucked up.
It's very honest.
Very fucking honest. Creative wise, hopefully it's going to be. I hope it's a good show, and they can prove me wrong.
Show too. There's the matches that I've seen announced for it so far look pretty good. There's like a random ladders, doors, and chairs match for the ultraviolet title. There's whoever Sharmel's butler was in WWE who does like 19,000 flips.
Oh, Sydney, something like that.
Really good. I think he's against
Vikingo.
Yes. Oh God, the man who breaks his neck every time he doesn't move. And then there's something else that's been announced. But yeah, I mean, like I'm sure it'll be great, and I really, really hope it does well. But just after last time, it's like if you're GCW or a fan like me who's been there watched the very first show, 2015, they're a deathmatch company. Well, they were a deathmatch company, but their primary focus for me to watch them is death matches, and you can't do that in New York. So it's kind of like.
Well, I mean, they are coming to the UK next year in January.
I've seen that. Yeah, they're coming. I mean, I might go to that show.
Yeah, I think it's at the Electric Ballroom where because Progress advertised it. So I wonder if it's obviously a joint venture within that. Yeah, I would assume so. Is there anyone from the UK if they can do death? I don't know if they can or if they can't. Death matches in the Electric Ballroom. I think it'd be kind of cool, but who knows with obviously the venues, plans, restriction. Is there anyone you'd like to maybe get a showcase from the British scene in GCW when they come over to the UK?
I mean, they've already kind of done a lot of that so far when the GCW have come over for TNT. So they've had like Big Joe, Clint Margera, I'm trying to think who else has been really showcased. That's pretty much it, really. Big Joe and Clint Margera being the sort of main standouts. Drew Parker as well, obviously. Drew Parker, who's in that GCW match. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great to see people like Tomby, B.A. Rose, Alton Thorne, Jack Harab, like all the guys that I like down there for that show. But like I say, I don't know what it's going to be like if it's in the Electric Ballroom. They'll do some hardcore shit, but I can't see them going crazy. But then again, I don't even know who they're going to bring.
Probably like imagine like FA, Ali Catch, maybe Sydney, maybe Cardona. Like I mean, Ricky Stark showed up at that Dream On show as well, so maybe they might bring him over. But I mean, it'll be interesting to say the least. And I wonder what GCW will and can do because I think Gage announced he's done with the company as well.
I mean, that's a opening up a can of worms. I'm going to go for a piss and then we talk about that.
Well, we'll pause, folks, and we'll be back with this fun talk.
Stand up and get someone else, but it's fine.
So
I can do it. I can do it off camera. It's all right.
You're a multitasker, man. You're one of the great promoters.
I'm my best. There's razor blades and everything everywhere, so it's all right. I'll look for it while I'm speaking. So yeah, Gage maybe potentially leaving GCW. I don't really know what's really going on with that, but it's kind of like Nick Gage is hands down my favorite wrestler of all time. So if he's happy and healthy, then he's happy and healthy. He's doing stuff for BCW, which is Battlezone Championship Wrestling, which is running out of the ECW Arena. He's wrestling Drake Younger in December for their Street Fight Championship. But he's done with GCW for a little while. him and Brett Lauderdale, who run the company, are still happily speaking to each other and all that sort of stuff. So we will find out what happens with Nick Gage. I'd love to have him over here. I'd love to have him over here, but I don't know how feasible that would be and how easy that would be to do. Obviously, because he's a former convicted bank robber. Obviously, with his past felonies and things like that, it might not be the easiest in the world to actually get him places. But I would love to get Nick Gage. But with the GCW stuff, like, he's one of the other people where you're like, you're going back to the Hammerstein, you're gonna need to fucking bring back Nick Gage. But if they're gonna do stuff with Atticus Cogar, who I think is probably one of the best promos in America, he's just come back at the company for NGI. I think it could be good. It could be amazing. They could blow it out of the fucking water. It could be, the Hammerstein show could be absolutely fantastic. But is the fucking Progress show they're doing before then?
When they come to the UK, or is that the collect? I think it's after. I haven't looked at Progress schedule in a fair bit, but I know they've got their unboxing show, which is their last show of this year, and I think it's after. I think it's after GCW.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
just out of curiosity, just to see like what they were going to do for it. But for the matches that I saw announced, I was like, it looks okay. It looks kind of decent, but I don't really care about wrestling. I was like, my pal Larry, who watches AEW, he was like, he's like, there's all these matches, and then he was like, from the pay-per-view, and then he was like, they're doing a tournament, and it's like a Japan style tournament, like on Collision and or Rampage, or whatever the fuck the shows are called, Rampage, and what's the main one called? Dynamite. And he was like, there are all these matches, and I was like, oh fuck, I was like, they're all going to go like 15-20 minutes. I was like, oh god, no.
Hey, the Continental Classic's a fun thing. They're all 20-minute time limits. So, I mean, hey, look, if we're getting, Osprey versus Ricochet in it, and maybe Beast Mortos versus Okada, so I'm happy with that. I'll take that as a fucking win. Is
Beast Mortos Torres?
Yeah, Black Taurus.
Fucking really good. He wrestled in GCW a good few times in the last couple of years. He's really good.
He really is.
I'm not AW, so it's all right.
Oh, what if we get Bailey on it? I know you like Bailey.
I'd watch it if Bailey came in. We'll watch that match, and that'd be it. But I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff for like Netflix and shit, and all this crap's happening, and the Rumble's soon, and Survivor Series is this weekend, and I don't know. I just don't.
It's a lot. Do you think, with how much wrestling there is right now, do you think there could be an oversaturation of the market?
100%, because I don't watch any of it. I literally don't, aside from the big four, or unless I'm actually at a show, or Berlin when I didn't go, I don't watch mainstream wrestling at all. All I watch is deathmatch stuff. All I watch is stuff on IWTV or GCW on Fight, and even then, it's too much. But then I don't know if that's just because now I'm doing it myself, that I feel like I don't. But then again, I should probably watch it more. But then, like, when my pal Larry, who probably watches WWE and AEW as much as you, like, he tells me, and he's like, I'm like, fucking, you're like a sadomasochist. Like, how do you do this to yourself? But then again, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. It's cool. It's just, I couldn't sit there and like watch Rampage and Collision and SmackDown and Raw and like every week. Like, I'd go mad.
I tend to agree as well. Ever since I've done the Soul Sessions and also working at shows in person, I don't watch WWE live anymore. I mostly stick to AEW.
Oh, it's Dynamite. On Netflix.
Well, Netflix. That's going to be making it more accessible. I'll be happy with that. Have to
how is it more accessible? It's just the same.
It's Netflix. Nobody has to watch the WWE Network that hasn't updated its video player since like 2015.
You think it's going to make a difference?
I think people are optimistic, like, it's going to change wrestling. Wrestling is going to become more mainstream. I think it's going to be in its own still little bubble. It'll do the same numbers or more, maybe. I don't think it's going to be like the Tyson and Jake Paul fight where it's going to crash the stream.
Oh god, I didn't even watch that. I was like, I'm not watching like fucking worked boxing.
wasn't going to insult my intelligence watching.
But it was really funny because like my friend Craig, like my best friend, he doesn't watch any wrestling at all. It was quite refreshing. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm going to watch that Jake Paul fucking Tyson fight, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, why is it not on? I was like, man, it's a boxing pay-per-view. Like, you've got to wait like 5 hours. And he's like, what? So he thought it was just going to be like one fight. I was like, you're a fucking idiot, man. I was like, wrestling and like boxing, like you've got a whole undercard and all this crap and the build up and the paper. And like, oh yeah, fuck that. But I think Netflix, like for the first, like say for the first Raw or SmackDown that will be on Netflix, I think it'll do quite well.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely, and I think it's going to do well. Obviously, they're doing the road to WrestleMania in Europe as well. They'll be coming to Glasgow with Raw. I think
you go into that
probably let's just say this: I'm not going to book time off work for it. If I get the time off by chance, I'll go to it. If the fucking tickets are extortionate as fuck, then fuck that. I'll watch it from home. I ain't going.
I genuinely don't think it was like I know I didn't go to the Berlin pay-per-view, right? Shame on me, right? But I went to the SmackDown pay-per-view, and like even though we were intoxicated, it was still one of the worst like shows I've been to. It was boring as fuck. Nothing happened on it. So like I don't have. Then again, it is the road to WrestleMania, so I don't really know what's going to happen. So what's Raw in Glasgow and then SmackDown's in London or something?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, if I get offered tickets, I'd probably go to fly.
We'll get you front row seats, and you can high five Gunther or something like that, and say, "Hey, come work this."
I would go to flyer it because when is it? March,
something like that. Yeah.
So then that'll be like, yeah, I'll definitely be there. Then I'll definitely go. Might not be at the show, but I'll flyer the tournament because it'll be just after that. Yeah. So I mean. There's a lot of WWE, there's a lot of AEW going on. I just don't know.
Obviously, we talked about kind of maybe being an oversaturation. And when there's obviously an oversaturation, there does come an episode where the bubble bursts. How do you think wrestling could react to that if the bubble does burst?
How do you mean burst, though?
I mean, with so much content being out there, you know, it's like the comics of the 90s that they brought so many out that people just lost interest and didn't consume it anymore because there was so much. Do you think it for wrestling?
I don't know. I think you're always going to have your hardcore fans. I think that's like 95% of the people that watch now anyway. I don't think there's anybody that like I don't think there is casual fans. I literally don't think that's a real thing anymore. That watch WWE or AEW. I don't think there is a casual fan. I think there's wrestling fans that watch these things. And then even more hardcore fans that watch Deathmatch or Progress or fucking GCW or anything like that. So I don't know. But then I think that with it being on Netflix, I don't know if that will bring in the normies. Probably. But then it's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the market and the audience is like, because I don't think the normies will be paying $1,000 for Survivor Series tickets. They'll be like, "Fuck that! I'll just watch."
But I mean, just watching it in their homes. Like, are the general people just going to watch Raw because it's on, and it's still going to be on at fucking 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. When does it start? When's the Netflix thing starts?
January 1st. I think it's like literally January 1st. Like they've got the first Raw on Netflix.
January 1st as well.
Is it January 1st? It's literally the start of January. I to my knowledge, it is that. It's like the first. I'll brought it first week of January. It's definitely in the first week of January. So, I mean, quickly check the calendar. So like the first January is like the 6th. So you've got 6th. The 6th, I probably imagine it'd be the 6th of January. Oh, I hope it's not called Insurrection. That'd be kind of funny. Fuck. 6th of January.
That would be quite funny. But I mean, like, fair play. I'm sure it'll do really, really well. I'm sure it'll be a massive, massive, huge, big thing. But I just don't know. Like, I'm sitting there like I've got Netflix. I probably won't watch it. Like I don't like I probably will watch it at some point, but like there's nothing in WWE that's really sort of grasping my attention. Like the only thing was the previous thing, and I think I said this in a previous Soul Sessions about the Wyatt 6.
Yeah.
Where like it's like you're either main event or nothing, and like what are they doing now?
Nothing. I think they're feuding with Karrion Kross's Judgment faction.
Why?
No, was it? What the fuck are they called? Testament. Last Testament.
But it's like, I don't know. It was like that was mildly interesting. Obviously, like Bailey, I don't even know what show she's on. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be good, but like the Survivor Series thing, like there's loads and loads of Samoans and CM Punk.
Yeah.
In a War Games match, and I was like, okay. I mean, I might watch Survivor Series. I don't know what other matches, but then for their pay-per-views as well, they're only like 5 matches long.
Yeah, and like their tag titles haven't been defended in 180 days, and it's kind of like, Jesus Christ.
Nobody cares about tag team wrestling WWE. That's been like that's not even a Triple H thing. That's like a long-standing thing. They've never really cared that much about the tag team titles.
Yeah, maybe like Black and Gold NXT, but besides that, it's been like Uso and New Day for like 20 years of feuding for the titles.
Did like Kofi Kingston not get sacked?
No, Odyssey Jones got sacked. It was like the replacement for Big E, and now they're feuding. It's a bit mess. So much. Can we just? That's why I only watch one fucking company. It just makes things so much fucking easier instead of learning about 16 other things. Oh fucking hell! Well, what a way to celebrate 1 year, eh? What a way to celebrate.
It was, but it's just moaning about wrestling. But I'm optimistic for next year. Deathmatch wrestling ain't going anywhere. No. This year's been amazing all across the board, not just for us, but for Rise, Kumite, TNT, CXW, America, everywhere. It's been great. But yeah, I don't know, like I kind of feel like I am stuck in my own little bubble, but I do feel like I feel next year I should watch a lot more wrestling, maybe not necessarily WWE or AEW, but watch a lot more wrestling in general, because I've kind of just like completely cut myself off. Because like beforehand, when I used to do like the podcast and stuff like that, I used to watch everything, and like now I don't watch anything. So I don't know.
Oh, don't worry. We can sit together on the couch and watch old Impact from like 2014, where it was like Global Force Wrestling, and it was all
2014. What? And they had that horrible little sticker over the belt.
Yeah. So
I did watch vague things back then, but I don't know. It would take a lot for me to watch WWE or AEW. Like again, like still the last AEW show I watched was the latest All In. And it was just in the background while we were making weapons. And I thought it was all right. But then we missed the main event.
Oh, well.
That I've still not seen.
It was fun for being there. And I think that just shows 2025 will be a fun year. Obviously, Andrew Crammond of Bleeding Gums Wrestling, another appearance on the Soul Sessions. And a pleasure, as always, my friend, to be doing this with you. Obviously, Life Will Kill You. You're making your first entrance into England, Dundee, 3 times in Perth, and Dundee again at the end of the year. I do want to ask, obviously with this tour it's set in stone, but maybe in the future, could we ever see international plans for Bleeding Gums' future?
I'd fucking hope so. I'd love to go to America. I'd love to go to America. Japan would be the fucking be all end all of everything. I know a lot of people say that in wrestling, but Japan is the top tier. Whether it comes to like strong style or whether it comes to deathmatch, Japanese wrestling's the best in the world. But yeah, America would be phenomenal, and Japan as well. But hopefully, maybe one day, we're very, very young in our infancy, I suppose. But yeah, I'd love to go over to the States. There's a lot of fucking different deathmatch companies. There's a lot of deathmatch wrestling in America. There's so much fucking deathmatch stuff in America. There's like, that's where all my focus goes all the time. And like, I watch all this shit and read all this shit. And then I'm like, I come out of it and I'm like, oh yeah, there's like WWE and AEW and Ring of Honor and Progress. And there's all these like different things. So yeah, that'd be amazing to do that.
It's definitely going to be fun. And I guess the only thing we'll know is in 2025, with Bleeding Gums Wrestling, Life Will Kill You. Folks, it's been a pleasure to have you here watching this number episode of Soul Sessions. Of course, Bleeding Gums Wrestling Instagram will be down in the description below. Click it, follow the page, see what's going on with the Life Will Kill You Tour in 2025, the show announcements, matches, and all that galore. Been another episode of the Soul Sessions, folks. 2025 is coming near, so all you can do is, well, put your chair away, get your drink. It's been a pleasure, folks. Stay well.
Sweet.
Now about the humans who gonna live like animals do. No more laws and no more rules. Nobody, no more